Hey, what's up everybody? This is Angry Hippie Lady, and we are back here in Youcraft. It hasn't been that long since I recorded, and it has been that long since you've seen a video of this. I'm supposed to get it out today, which is technically Saturday for me. It's 12:25 a.m. So, yeah. But I came in here for Old Oak. Oh, whew. Or Dark Oak. I always call it Old Oak. I called it that trying to confuse people, and now I can't I can't call it anything but that. So I think I pranked myself. But anyway, hi. It's Sunday. Sunday. And you're watching my video for some reason. No. It's been a busy week. And I hope I can get back into I'm starting to slowly work back into doing YouTube on a regular basis. I know I was putting out videos on a regular basis, but I wasn't doing anything really. Like I wasn't advertising the videos at all. I wasn't putting them up on Google Plus really, except for, you know, on my profile and stuff like that. And I haven't been making videos. This is the second video I think I've made in 2 weeks. I took some time off because I always take a little bit of time away whenever Mom comes home, just so that we can have some time together, because I see her once a month. And typically it's only for a couple days. This time she happened to stay for 2 weeks, just about. But yeah, I still, you know, stayed away for that time so that we could spend that time together and all special and stuff. So yeah, I feel a little out of practice. I feel like I'm not fully in the commentating mode. I was hoping that just talking today would be something good, but I've been talking so much this week, you know, it would have, you would think that as much as I've been talking, I would be able to commentate. Oh my god, stop doing that. You're making me waste things. And you never give it back. But it's different, you know, when it's just you talking. And so, I'm sorry. My voice also sounds weird, and it has this scratchiness. It's not a painful scratchy, but you can hear it in certain words or whatever, like right there and there. But I found the soundtrack for Fallout New Vegas, and all the songs that I could sing to, I definitely did. I'm a terrible singer, so you'll probably never hear me sing, which is, your ears will thank me, trust me. But I still enjoy it. It's still nice sometimes, every once in a while, once in a blue moon. It's nice to just kind of sing with the music, and it's different than just listening. Because whenever I just listen to music, I can just sit there, and sometimes it even just becomes background noise and I forget that it's on. But whenever I'm singing it, I guess it's kind of like the same feeling that I got whenever I was playing music. Because if you didn't know, because I don't know if I've talked about it really, but I used to play violin, viola, cello, bass, whatever. If it had strings, I could play it. Now, I couldn't read the music, but I could, you know, figure out a couple songs on it typically. Because I had pretty good ears. But, yeah, I always really liked playing along with music, and good music, and playing with people that could play their instruments well. Because I had She'll never hear this, so I guess I don't have to worry about it. And she probably doesn't remember me. I don't know. But I had a terrible middle school and high school teacher for orchestra. And she didn't teach her students very well. So, like, she didn't even try to teach them how to tune, which I learned on my own. I taught myself how to tune without a tuner. And some of those kids couldn't even tune with a tuner. Like, it's turn a peg, don't turn too hard. Turn just enough that it turns until until it's right. It's not that difficult, people. But they couldn't get it. So yeah, that was just one thing though. It was a multitude of things. This teacher couldn't hear. Like okay. It's really okay, I gotta explain it. She wasn't deaf, okay? The thing is that she was tone deaf. Which, how can a teacher that in orchestra be tone deaf? Well, not a good one. But anyway, yeah, so half of the class didn't play right. She never taught them how to read sharps, how to play sharps, how to read the margins and everything. So it was really bad, and I disliked a lot of it. But I got to go places for a little bit cheaper and go in competitions and stuff, even though we sucked. I got to go to Busch Gardens, so that was something, and I got to go to Universal, which I never would have done without orchestra, so that's nice. And SeaWorld, got to go to SeaWorld because of it, and Kennedy Space Center. Well, no, I didn't go to Kennedy Space Center that time. We went, I think me and Mom went. I think we went off on our own, but it was after that trip that she took me home, signed papers and stuff so that my own parent could take me home. It's like, really? She's my mom. She carried me around for 9 months and you don't trust her to drive me home? What? Anyway. That's a different thing for a different day. But yeah, so we went to all these places and would have never gone probably without me being in orchestra. And thanks to me being a decent orchestra person, I was able to go into the symphony orchestra around here, which isn't like I didn't have to try out for it or anything, but they do expect quality musicians in that group. And had a lot of fun. I stayed in that for a couple years and made some good friends. I don't really talk to them that much now since I haven't been in it for a couple years, but I mean, while I was there, all the violas, because at that point that was my main instrument, was viola. I was originally a violinist and stuck with violin until sophomore year of high school, I think. And then all of a sudden, this teacher that sucked was like, okay, let's switch from we're going to learn a second instrument, because after you learn your first instrument, it's so much easier to learn a second instrument, and stuff like that. So let's actually make this a little bit thicker. We'll go 2 more. So 1, 2. So that's how I learned the viola, because one of my best friends from high school, that was her main instrument, and I taught her violin, taught her how to read the clef and everything. And so I ended up sticking with viola, because both of my friends from high school were playing viola at that time. I switched to viola, and then one of the violas, which was one of my friends, switched to bass, and he became the only bass player that we had. And he was pretty darn good at it. I miss that guy. He was awesome to have around and stuff. But yeah, and he taught me bass because I got bored very easily in orchestra. So this teacher, she would send us off to do group work. So what would happen is, you know, the violas would go off in one corner and the violins would go off in another corner, and so on and so forth. And we would work on the music on our own. But at that point, only me and my friend were playing viola, and we were both really good musicians, and so we didn't need to practice to sound good. So I would kind of wander around, and every once in a while the teacher would call me out and be like, shouldn't you be practicing? I mean, I can play it for you perfectly right now if you want to come and listen. And so she would kind of just, every once in a while, she would tell me off if she was in a bad mood and tell me to go practice or whatever. And I would run back to my group and sit there and complain. Is basically what happened. But a couple of those times I would sneak into the bass group if they were, if he was off in a corner, off in one of the soundproof rooms, I would sneak in there and learn from him. And after a while, she found out that I was playing bass and allowed me to continue playing bass. And the problem is that I'm really short, so I'm 5 foot or so, maybe a few centimeters less, and yeah. Need I say more? If you don't know what a bass is, go Google it. Go Google how tall they are. It was interesting. But what happened is she brought in her electric bass, this teacher. Not the bassist was a guy, so not him. But yeah, she brought in her electric bass, and I picked it up immediately and could play it perfectly. And, you know, proper finger positions and everything. My biggest problem switching over to bass was that I would want to play it like a guitar. Because I played a little bit of guitar. I learned how to play, you know, Stairway to Heaven and stuff like that. I wasn't very good at reading music, and I wasn't very good at, you know, other stuff with it. So I played Suicide is Painless and Stairway to Heaven. I'm just cheery. No, I watched a lot of MASH, which was a TV show way back, way before I was even thought of, way before I think both of my siblings were thought of. But anyway, yeah, so I apparently played a bass like a guitar, which means, okay, so if you know anything about guitars, or if you play yourself, you know how you place your fingers on the string. You kind of you don't use like the very tip of your finger, but you don't like lay your fingers flat on the string, you know? But with a bass, you use more of your finger than you do whenever you're playing guitar. And so I would place my fingers on the string like I was playing a guitar, and I would have to be corrected. And, oh, no. Okay, well, no. Bye-bye. Oh, no, you came back. You're the first one of the wood variety to come back. Yeah. I was a good musician. I got lazy though. I will admit that I was pretty lazy. I definitely could have been a lot better if I hadn't been so nonchalant about music, and playing it and stuff. I mean, I didn't practice at home. I didn't practice at school. There was one time towards the end there, not the end of her, the end of, my time in high school, but she started trying to get serious, and her idea of getting serious was making us play, our scales. And so we would go through our scales, and she would listen to us and check us off, and she'd be like, "Oh, you were a little flat here. Oh, you were a little sharp there," or whatever. And she wouldn't really mark off, so it didn't really do much. It was too little, too late. But there was one day that I walked in there, and my friend, the other violist, she came up to me and she's like, "We're doing scales today, right?" And I was like, "Oh crap!" And so I asked her what scales and everything, and so I think over it in my head. I'm like, okay, this one's sharp, this one's, and then I played a couple times and memorized where my fingers need to go and everything so that I could play it perfect. Then I walk in there, play it one time, and she's like, and the teacher was like, "Wow, you must have done a lot of practice for that." And I was like, "Yeah, I did. I put a lot of work into that. I'm really happy with how it turned out." She's like, "I'm really glad to hear that. I'm glad you're taking this seriously." And I walked out and told my friend, and we just laughed and laughed and laughed, because she was terrible. I mean, really, right now I don't know if she's still teaching. But last I heard, she used to have a job at the middle school and the high school. And, she, I don't know if she always had a job at because the high school I went to was fairly new. It was like 10 years old at most when I went there. And, I don't know if she was always the orchestra teacher there or not, but she was our middle school and high school orchestra teacher, and the county was trying to cut back on expenses, so they were like, "Oh, we can only allow you to teach one job, or have one job," and so she picked the middle school over the high school. I think what happened towards the end, because a lot of the students would kind of like buddy up with her and be really, really nice to her so that they would get good grades and, kind of make her think that they were friends with her. And what happened towards the end is that we all kind of realized, or we finally, let her know that she was a bad teacher, and she hated us so much. And she was like, "I don't want to be a high school teacher anymore." And so she went back to middle school. And honestly, she probably shouldn't be a middle school orchestra teacher even. She shouldn't be an orchestra teacher at all. She never played in front of us. If she did play, she didn't play a stringed instrument. She played a flute in front of us. She never played a string instrument in front of us at all. So, yeah. The most she ever played any string instrument is tuning, and that's because she wouldn't teach her students how to tune. I guess she wanted to feel useful. I don't know. Wow. So much hate. I'm gonna end this episode because I've been talking for around 24 minutes. But anyway, if you like my hate for my old orchestra teacher, comment about how much I hate everything, apparently. Like and subscribe while you're at it. Oh, I already told you, like again if you want. Log into that second account that I know you subscribed to me with, because I totally only have 50 subs. No. Yeah. Wow, I'm sorry. I just went into a total hate fest and went with it. I promise next episode I won't be so hateful. Maybe. Probably not. I am an angry hippie lady. I mean, come on. Come on, admit it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm angry. Anyway. Oh, stop that. Thank you all for watching. I'm Angry Hippie Lady, and I will see you in the next episode. Wait, where did I stop at? Okay, over there. Peace out.